Top 10 hated actors of the century and why. Oh, the drama of Hollywood. Get ready to dive into the scandalous stories of the top 10 most hated actors of the century. You won't believe some of the shocking antics that have turned these stars into villains in the eyes of the public. But do they really deserve all this hate? Strap in for a wild ride through fame, controversy, and the price of stardom. This is Iconic Inside, and we're about to spill the tea on the most divisive names in film history. Mel Gibson. Mel Gibson is a divisive personality in the film industry, frequently associated with his intense portrayals on screen. His professional life suffered greatly after a 2006 incident involving a drunk driving arrest where he made disparaging remarks about Jewish people to the police officer, saying, "The Jews are responsible for all the wars in the world. Are you a Jew?" This event left the public in shock, and it resulted in universal disapproval and a period of being unofficially banned from Hollywood. Following this scandal, Gibson's management of the fallout was harshly judged. He offered apologies, stating, "I acted like a person completely out of control," but many observers believed his apologies were insincere. His efforts to mend fences with the Jewish community were viewed with doubt, as his previous actions continued to cast a shadow over him. Despite the controversies, some in the entertainment world have been open to Gibson's return, especially after his 2016 movie, Hacksaw Ridge, which garnered several nominations for the Academy Awards. However, there are still those who are firmly against his re-emergence, stressing the importance of being held responsible for one's actions. Winona Ryder, who claimed Gibson had made anti-Semitic remarks in the 1990s, remarked, "I believe in redemption and forgiveness, but I am not one of them." As it stands, Gibson continues to be a contentious figure, with ongoing conversations about if his past actions should eclipse his creative work. His story mirrors the larger conversations taking place about the themes of forgiveness and responsibility within the Hollywood community. Gwyneth Paltrow. Gwyneth Paltrow is a celebrity who garners mixed responses, being seen as both attractive and controversial. She is often criticized for an image that some view as too perfect, which is felt to distance her from the common experiences of the general public. This sense of detachment is further emphasized by her lifestyle company, Goop, which is widely regarded as exclusive. Paltrow's endorsement of luxury wellness items and controversial health advice has led to her being accused of endorsing pseudoscientific practices, a stance that has been criticized by both healthcare professionals and the wider public. In her own words, she has said, "It's not meant to be advice for anybody else. It's really just what has worked for me." A statement that many find unconvincing, further cementing her image as someone who is perceived as goody two-shoes. This character is often seen as disingenuous, especially when compared to her luxurious lifestyle and the costly products offered by Goop. Her controversial product suggestions, like the use of jade eggs and rectal ozone therapy, have provoked considerable backlash. Critics argue that these recommendations prey on vulnerable consumers. Despite her efforts to establish herself as a health and wellness expert, Paltrow's reputation is marred by a number of controversies that cast a shadow over her successes. As she continues to balance her roles as an actress and businesswoman, the gap between her public image and the opinions of many is striking, highlighting the intricacies of fame in modern culture. Is Gwyneth Paltrow's perfect image a turn-off or an inspiration? Share your thoughts and comment yes if you find her relatable, or no if you think she's out of touch. Let's discuss. Robert Pattinson. Robert Pattinson, who rose to fame as a teen idol in the Twilight series, has faced considerable criticism in his acting career, with some even branding him as unpopular. A lot of this animosity appears to stem from envy over his rapid ascent to stardom, especially among those who feel eclipsed by his achievements. Pattinson's acting has frequently been characterized as monotonous by critics, with some viewers expressing dissatisfaction with his performances, especially when it comes to his role as Batman. Audiences have described his acting as dull and unconvincing, suggesting that his portrayals lack the energy typically expected from a leading actor. In addition, Pattinson has been criticized for his part in Twilight, with detractors accusing him of spoiling the vampire genre. His depiction of Edward Cullen has been criticized for being excessively gloomy and not living up to the romantic allure that fans had hoped for. Pattinson has been open about his unease with the franchise, famously saying, "If Edward wasn't a fictional character and you met him in reality, he is like one of those guys who would probably be an axe murderer," a remark that has not won him many fans. Furthermore, Pattinson has been seen as provoking Twilight fans by openly questioning the storyline and characters' motives. He once called the narrative bizarre and confessed that he would mindlessly detest the movies if he were not a part of them. While this self-mocking humor is appreciated by some, it has also further distanced a portion of his audience, cementing his status as a divisive figure in the entertainment industry. Tyler Perry. Tyler Perry, a well-known personality in the entertainment world, has attracted substantial disapproval for his depiction of African Americans in his movies. Detractors claim that his creations uphold adverse stereotypes, especially through characters that represent criminality, domestic abuse, and other distressing subjects. A case in point is his alter ego, Medea, who has been characterized as a mammy-like character, frequently partaking in unlawful actions and employing over-the-top dialects that some argue reinforce damaging views of black society. Renowned actor Idris Elba has hinted at these issues, commenting, "You gave me a role of a father, caring for his children. There was none that really depicts the same story." This underscores a disparity between Perry's creations and more affirmative portrayals of black fatherhood and family dynamics. Filmmakers like Spike Lee have criticized Perry's movies as coonery and buffoonery, arguing that they belittle black communities by perpetuating stereotypes that are often employed to rationalize systemic racism. Additionally, Perry's commercial achievements prompt inquiries about his part in capitalizing on these stereotypes. His films, although favored by some viewers, are slammed for their superficiality and their inclination to capitalize on social concerns for amusement. As indicated in numerous assessments, the recurrent themes of crime and domestic violence in his stories can be perceived as harmful, possibly impacting public views of African Americans adversely. Thus, Perry's legacy is a complicated mix of empowerment and exploitation. Loving this content, show your support with a like and a subscribe. Not impressed? A like would still be nice, and your feedback in the comments will help me create better content next time. Hayden Christensen. Hayden Christensen, frequently rebuked for his interpretation of Anakin Skywalker in the Star Wars prequels, has encountered considerable disapproval throughout his professional journey. Numerous devotees of the series have characterized his acting as dry and boring, resulting in widespread accusation that he spoiled the cherished franchise. Critics have often honed in on his line delivery, perceiving it as devoid of emotional resonance. A prevalent opinion is that his portrayal appeared rigid, with one observer remarking, "He sounds like a whiny teenager," a trait that, while fitting Anakin's developmental trajectory, is said to have failed to connect with viewers. Christensen has admitted to the harsh critique, admitting, "The character was criticized, my performance was criticized, and that part sucked." This adverse response has cast a shadow over his attempts to portray a multifaceted character caught between the forces of good and evil. A considerable number of fans argue that the true flaw lies with the script and the directorial vision, rather than Christensen's acting abilities. He has defended his interpretation by suggesting that the expectations for Anakin were distorted, stressing that these characters almost become public domain, where people feel a sense of ownership over them. Miley Cyrus. Miley Cyrus, once cherished for her role as a child star in Hannah Montana, has evolved into a contentious pop figure, frequently reprimanded for her scandalous conduct. Echoing her aspiration to detach from her early persona, she declared, "I had to kill Hannah Montana," a statement that symbolized her break from her innocent beginnings. This transformation was characterized by audacious performances and a frank acceptance of her sexuality, actions that some interpreted as a frantic effort to abandon her previous clean-cut image. Her daring dance moves have incited considerable disapproval, especially during her notorious 2013 MTV VMA act with Robin Thicke, where her twerking was deemed unsuitable. Detractors have often commented on her rigid, unconvincing thespian skills, especially in movies like The Last Song, where her portrayal was criticized as mechanical. A critic pointed out, "Miley's acting is missing the emotional profundity required to captivate the audience." underscoring the gap between her fame and her acting proficiency. Regardless of the criticism, Cyrus persists in testing limits in both her music and live performances. While some laud her for defying societal conventions, others consider her actions as a ploy for attention. Pauly Shaw. Pauly Shaw, recognized for his idiotic and irritating comedic character, became prominent in the 1990s with his MTV show Totally Pauly and appearances in movies such as Encino Man, Son-in-Law and Biodome. Shaw's humor, frequently labeled as immature and monotonous, revolved around his weasel character, embodying a laid-back surfer with heavy use of slang and catchphrases. While some audiences appreciated his comedic approach, others considered it crude, distasteful, and lacking in humor. Shaw's fame reached its zenith in the 1990s, but his film career rapidly declined as he faced growing animosity from critics and viewers. A Reddit user remarked, "He was only famous in the first place because his mother owned the Comedy Store. It's not like he ever had real talent or value. He was a novelty, and it wore off fast." Film critic Roger Ebert described Shaw's performances by saying, "Shaw bypasses all categories to achieve a kind of transcendent fingernails on the blackboard effect." In more recent times, Shaw has attempted a resurgence, creating a YouTube channel, podcast, and touring with a one-man show. However, many believe he is still holding on to his outdated persona. Another Reddit user commented, "He still hangs on his old persona from like 30 years ago. The weasel is dead, dude." Anne Hathaway. Anne Hathaway, a celebrated actress recognized for her range and skill, has encountered a perplexing wave of intense online animosity, commonly called Hathaway. Even with her remarkable body of work, featuring roles in critically praised films such as Les Miserables, The Devil Wears Prada, and Interstellar, Hathaway has been subjected to unwarranted critique and ridicule from certain internet circles. The negative sentiment towards Hathaway started in the early 2010s, particularly after her co-hosting role at the 2011 Academy Awards with James Franco, which received significant criticism. The backlash grew more severe during her award season for Les Miserables in 2013, as her acceptance speeches and interviews were placed under a microscope. Some audience members perceived her displays of gratitude as bizarre or inauthentic, leading to accusations of her being too desperate for an Oscar. Hathaway's polished and flawless persona, characterized by her radiant smile and elegant figure, has been a source of discomfort for some, fostering the idea that she is out of touch with the everyday individual. In a speech at Elle's Women in Hollywood event, she shared, "10 years ago, I was given an opportunity to look at the language of hatred from a new perspective. I would no longer create art from this place, nor speak its language for any reason, to anyone, including myself." The Hathaway trend even impacted Hathaway's professional opportunities, as she disclosed in a recent conversation with Vanity Fair. "Numerous individuals were hesitant to offer me roles due to their apprehension about the toxicity associated with my online persona. It was the backing of director Christopher Nolan, who selected her for Interstellar, that allowed Hathaway's career to keep moving forward during this difficult time." And Shia LaBeouf, recognized for his unpredictable conduct and contentious capers, has evolved from a potential-laden youth performer into an enigmatic performance artist in the last 10 years. LaBeouf, who gained notoriety on the Disney Channel program Even Stevens, has been subject to reproach for his perceived insolence and self-importance, with events spanning from legal troubles to allegations of plagiarism. In 2013, LaBeouf debuted a brief film, Howard Cantor, which was found by spectators to be a duplicated representation of a narrative by Daniel Clowes. LaBeouf offered an apology through Twitter but persisted in employing uncredited quotations in his posts. He later characterized this episode as pivotal in steering him toward performance art, asserting, "The concept of the star could evolve into a principal platform for the development of innovative positions whose sincerity might foster a more gratifying form of emotional impact." LaBeouf's approach to method acting has likewise resulted in conflicts on film locations. During the production of Lawless, his interactions with fellow actress Mia Wasikowska were so challenging that she contemplated leaving the project. His deep immersion into his role on the set of Fury also led to a trying atmosphere for the crew. In 2017, LaBeouf was apprehended in Savannah, Georgia, charged with disorderly conduct, obstruction, and public drunkenness as he sought a cigarette from a passerby. A video capturing a string of expletives and racially offensive remarks directed at the police went viral, which led LaBeouf to issue a formal apology on Twitter. He described the event as a new low and pledged to work towards sobriety. Kristen Stewart. Kristen Stewart, celebrated for her performances in the Twilight franchise and a variety of independent cinema, has consistently encountered harsh scrutiny throughout her professional journey. Critics have often belittled her acting skills, labeling her portrayals as rigid and emotionless. Her interpretation of Bella Swan in the Twilight series especially has drawn considerable disfavor, with detractors asserting that she failed to display the character's emotional spectrum convincingly. The critiques of Stewart's acting prowess have been further exacerbated by her off-screen demeanor. She is frequently characterized as being ill at ease and reticent during interviews, frequently seeming disengaged and uninterested. This has prompted speculation that her screen presence might be a mere reflection of her genuine disposition. Beyond her acting and media interactions, Stewart has also been criticized for her private life. In 2012, she openly confessed to an affair with Rupert Sanders, the director of Snow White and the Huntsman, while she was in a relationship with Twilight co-star Robert Pattinson. This public scandal, which was widely covered in the media, further tarnished her public perception and standing. Hey, Iconic Inside fam, we've journeyed through the highs and lows of some of Hollywood's most controversial names. But here's the thing, not all hate is justified. So we're throwing it back to you. Who do you think is a misunderstood gem in the rough? Hit like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell to join the conversation. Let's keep the dialogue going and celebrate the unsung heroes of the silver screen. Why everyone hates Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise's controversial antics and perplexing beliefs have made him a polarizing figure in Hollywood, with many stars outright despising him. His over-the-top behavior and unapologetic dedication to Scientology have led several A-listers to publicly sever ties with him. Let's expose the high-profile celebrities who can't stand Tom Cruise and refuse to work with him again. Nicole Kidman. Nicole Kidman and Tom Cruise were a prominent duo in the entertainment industry until their unexpected and profound separation, which significantly impacted Nicole Kidman's life. The announcement of their split was not only surprising to the public but also to Nicole Kidman, who received the news suddenly. Tom Cruise disclosed the separation to the media with the vague statement, "Nicole knows why." Contrary to this statement, she was unaware of the reason. There has been widespread speculation that the cause was related to Tom Cruise's involvement with Scientology. Although he and the organization have refuted these claims, the split permanently changed her connection with her children. Following the division, her children remained in Los Angeles with their father, while Nicole Kidman returned to Australia, leading to a strained relationship with them. This estrangement was evident as Nicole was notably absent from her adopted children's weddings, with one child specifically not inviting her at Tom Cruise's behest. It's understated to say that Nicole Kidman harbors deep resentment towards Tom Cruise. Katie Holmes. Following his marriage with Nicole Kidman, Tom Cruise tied the knot with Katie Holmes, only for their union to end in a similar dissolution. However, this time, Katie Holmes took control of the situation. She meticulously orchestrated the divorce over several months, severing ties with any member of her entourage whom she suspected of having allegiance to Tom Cruise. In her careful planning, she secured a new, undisclosed apartment as a safe haven for herself and her daughter. When everything was set, she used a burner phone to break the news to Tom Cruise. People close to the couple have indicated that he was dumbfounded for days following the revelation. The divorce proceedings ensued, with Katie Holmes being awarded custody of their daughter. Years down the line, insiders suggest that the two have not reconciled. Rumors persist that Tom Cruise has felt a profound sense of betrayal and abandonment following Katie's departure. Conversely, Katie Holmes seemingly harbors no fondness for Tom Cruise, possibly detesting him for what she perceives as him sapping her vitality. John Travolta. John Travolta's animosity towards Tom Cruise is unrivaled, stemming from deep-seated envy and resentment. Both actors are high-profile figures within the Church of Scientology, with John Travolta having been a part of the organization since 1975 and swiftly climbing its ranks. He was considered one of its most influential members, if not the most, for over a decade, until Mimi Rogers introduced her then-husband Tom Cruise to the church. Following his breakthrough role in Top Gun, Tom Cruise not only captivated audiences worldwide, but also quickly became a leading figure within Scientology. This shift led to John Travolta's openly expressed jealousy towards Tom Cruise, culminating in Travolta sending a fervently critical letter to the church's president after Cruise received the Freedom Medal of Valor, a distinction Travolta believed he was more worthy of. Travolta's dissatisfaction with Cruise's prominence in the church is a sentiment echoed by other members, with many voicing agreement with Travolta's perspective. Kirstie Alley. Tom Cruise and Kirstie Alley, despite sharing the same faith, demonstrated that this does not necessarily mean they share a liking for one another. It was Leah Remini, a vocal critic of Cruise, who suggested in her book the possibility of a rift between Kirstie Alley and Tom Cruise. This was a surprise, as no one had previously thought them to be at odds. In a situation where tabloids were accusing Cruise of holding auditions for a romantic partner, Kirstie Alley came to his aid. She disputed these claims and advised that journalists should have directly approached Cruise for his version of events instead of relying on hearsay. This, she believed, would have led them to the truth. Nevertheless, Leah Remini disclosed in her book that she had heard rumors of Cruise's dislike for both Kirstie Alley and John Travolta. Following Kirstie Alley's death, suspicions about their strained relationship gained traction, especially since Tom Cruise remained silent during this period. While numerous tributes poured in for the late actress, Cruise refrained from commenting, adding to the speculation. Leah Remini. Leah Remini has been notably vocal about her disdain for the Church of Scientology and Tom Cruise in particular. She has repeatedly made her negative opinions about the actor known, seizing any opportunity to express her discontent. For instance, amidst the widespread acclaim for Top Gun: Maverick and its credited role in revitalizing the film industry, Leah Remini took to social media. She aimed to remind everyone of the purported harm caused by the film's leading actor and the secretive nature of his religious affiliation. Remini shared a TikTok on her social platforms that criticized Tom Cruise, suggesting that his public persona is merely an act. Furthermore, she commented on a widely circulated incident where Cruise was recorded shouting at crew members for not adhering to COVID-19 safety measures on set. Remini argued that his concern for health protocols was insincere and speculated that he might have intentionally leaked the footage to curry favor online. She has made bold claims about the actor and the church harboring numerous secrets, portraying their public images as carefully constructed facades. The Church of Scientology has retaliated by publicly denouncing her behavior as obsessive. If you like this video, please leave a number 9 in the comments below. Alec Baldwin. When Alec Baldwin openly criticized Tom Cruise, it caught many off guard. Speaking at Elle magazine's annual Women in Hollywood event, Baldwin touched upon the enduring issue of Hollywood's gender pay disparity. He suggested that if Tom Cruise were to reduce his asking price by $29 million, it could significantly help to address this inequality. Baldwin clarified that he wasn't looking to blame this issue entirely on one individual, but if he had to choose someone, it would be Tom Cruise. He highlighted the vast difference in their earnings by humorously comparing his own pay to the cost of Altoids in the context of one of Cruise's blockbuster films. Despite Baldwin's pointed remarks, there didn't seem to be any lasting professional tension between him and Cruise. They both featured in the 2018 film Mission: Impossible – Fallout, where the only setbacks reported on set were related to physical injuries they experienced, rather than any personal conflicts. David Miscavige. David Miscavige holds immense power, positioning him among the world's most influential figures. Starting a quarrel with him is generally seen as a bad idea. Currently, his relationship with Tom Cruise is notably strong, verging on a brotherly bond. However, their friendship didn't start without its tensions, especially when Cruise inadvertently disrespected the Scientology leader. This friction arose during an illustrious party organized by David Miscavige to welcome a new church member. Miscavige had even arranged for L. Ron Hubbard's personal chef to cater the event, held at a lavish pool setting. Nonetheless, the celebratory atmosphere dampened when Tom Cruise arrived 4 hours later than planned, as recalled by Miscavige's father, Ron Miscavige. David Miscavige's irritation was palpable. not only due to Cruise's late arrival, but also because Cruise excused himself to sleep without partaking in the dinner. Fortunately, this initial misunderstanding was resolved shortly after when Cruise and Miscavige bonded over a ski hunting trip. Mickey Rourke. In a candid interview with Piers Morgan, Mickey Rourke didn't hold back on expressing his profound aversion for Tom Cruise. Rourke's feelings came to light when he was asked about his thoughts on Cruise's Top Gun Maverick dominating the box office and achieving major success. Rourke was dismissive, indicating such accomplishments hold no value to him. Rourke's critique of Cruise went deeper as he admitted to not only being indifferent about Cruise, but also lacking respect for him. He criticized Cruise for essentially portraying the same role for over 3 decades. Rourke emphasized his admiration for actors who push the boundaries of their craft, naming industry legends like Marlon Brando, Al Pacino, and Robert De Niro, despite having had disagreements with De Niro in the past. Judd Apatow. Judd Apatow, hailed as one of Hollywood's top comedic writers, has collaborated with numerous major stars throughout his career. However, Tom Cruise is likely someone he won't be working with anytime soon. At the Directors Guild of America, where hosts often poke fun at the attendees, Apatow's monologue took aim at Cruise with such intensity that it left some wondering if there was a personal grudge involved. Apatow began by joking about Cruise's height and didn't stop there. He referenced some of Cruise's most notorious moments, including the infamous couch-jumping incident. Apatow then delved into more sensitive topics, criticizing Cruise's parenting issues and his outspoken stance against antidepressants. He even suggested that Cruise should take a break from doing his own stunts, quipping that a 60-year-old Cruise might be less inclined to jump off mountains if he were on antidepressants. Apatow didn't shy away from questioning whether Cruise's affiliation with Scientology was what enabled him to perform such daring feats at his age. These pointed comments made it evident that Judd Apatow harbors significant animosity toward Tom Cruise. Mark Wahlberg. In an interview, Mark Wahlberg directly addressed comments associated with Tom Cruise concerning the hardships of being away from his children during shooting, which were likened to being on military duty overseas, specifically comparing it to serving in Afghanistan. Wahlberg was deeply offended by this comparison and didn't hesitate to voice his disapproval. He made it clear that regardless of any intensive training an actor might undergo for a role, it pales in comparison to the real challenges faced by Navy SEALs. Wahlberg criticized the audacity of making such claims whilst comfortably preparing for scenes in a makeup chair. He further argued that actors who can retreat to their hotels after a day's work should refrain from drawing such parallels. If you like this video, please leave a number 9 in the comments below. Nazanin Boniadi. The experience Nazanin Boniadi had with the Church of Scientology was far from positive. She was allegedly presented to Tom Cruise as a partner following his separation from Nicole Kidman. The pairing was confusing for both, but they attempted to make it work in order to appease the church. It wasn't long before Boniadi realized that Cruise's loyalty to the church surpassed everything else. During a particularly distressing episode, Boniadi suffered a severe migraine that hampered her ability to process instructions from the church's leader, which enraged Cruise. In a fit of anger, Cruise confronted her aggressively, screaming in her face, then further intensified the moment by punching a desk while maintaining eye contact. Weeks later, through a church intermediary, Boniadi was informed that her relationship with Cruise was over and she needed to move on. Given these circumstances, it's understandable if Boniadi harbors negative feelings towards Cruise. Matt Lauer. Matt Lauer, renowned for his tenure at NBC and interviewing prominent personalities, had a notably contentious live interview with Tom Cruise. This exchange took place during Cruise's challenging promotional tour for War of the Worlds. By the time Cruise was scheduled to speak with Lauer, it was evident that Lauer was not inclined to ease through the interview. The conversation initially seemed routine, focusing on the movie. However, Lauer unexpectedly shifted gears, probing into sensitive topics such as Scientology and Cruise's relationship with Katie Holmes, which he insinuated might be a facade for publicity. Taken aback, Cruise visibly bristled, accusing Lauer of being glib and uninformed. Despite Lauer's persistent challenge throughout the interview, Cruise managed to keep his composure, defending his position and maintaining a semblance of control. even when the topic touched on matters close to his heart, like his son's rights. Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise, both equally celebrated for their acting prowess and fame, encountered friction when they co-starred in Interview with the Vampire. The collaboration was fraught with high expectations for both. Cruise faced skepticism from the novel's author about his suitability for the role, while Pitt grappled with the pressure of sharing the screen with an actor of Cruise's caliber. Compounded by his dissatisfaction with the grim content and demanding filming conditions, Pitt experienced considerable unease and rivalry on set. Pitt perceived his character as less compelling compared to Cruise's, often feeling sidelined during production. The dynamic between them was competitive, contributing to an atmosphere of tension. Pitt metaphorically described their relationship as going in opposite directions, with Cruise heading north as he went south. Following their collaboration on this film, Pitt and Cruise have not worked together again. Pitt's sentiments towards Cruise seem to bear a tint of animosity, with rumors circulating that Pitt has labeled Cruise as completely insane. Brooke Shields and Tom Cruise, who were once friends and former co-stars, enjoyed a good rapport. However, Cruise's willingness to share his unsolicited opinions publicly led to tension between them. Shields' discussion of her use of medication to combat postpartum depression during a national television appearance sparked controversy with Cruise. He launched into a significant critique, implying that Shields was not well informed about the medication she advocated for, asserting that he had more knowledge on the subject. Shields, taken aback by his remarks, retorted by suggesting that Cruise should focus on his cinematic endeavors, specifically referencing his role in the 2005 movie War of the Worlds as a humorous comeback. Recognizing the error in his ways, Cruise eventually sought to mend fences. He personally visited Shields at her home to offer an apology for his earlier comments. Shields found his apology sincere enough to move past the incident and forgive him. Justin Bieber proposed a fight against Tom Cruise in 2019, sparking a viral tweet that caught attention. He challenged the actor to a match, suggesting that failure to respond would imply fear. Bieber even tagged Dana White, the UFC president, to host the hypothetical fight. However, Cruise remained silent, and Bieber later clarified his intentions during an interview with James Corden. He revealed that his tweet was inspired by a recent interview with Cruise and was not meant to be taken seriously. Despite this, Bieber expressed confidence in his hypothetical fighting abilities, claiming he would emerge victorious if they were to face off in the ring. The reason behind his animosity towards Cruise remains unclear. In the captivating world of celebrity controversies, Tom Cruise's interactions and conflicts spark a wide range of opinions. From disagreements with co-stars to public disputes, his actions have certainly made waves, but what's your stance on this? If you believe the backlash against Cruise is warranted, drop a yes in the comments. If not, we want to hear your no. Share your views and don't shy away from sparking a discussion. Remember to like and subscribe to Iconic Inside for more engaging content on the highs and lows of celebrity life. Let's get the conversation started. Comment now